on.
Good morning, everyone. This is Reefer and Cheeba at Wake and Bake at 4:20 in the a.m.
Today, we're going to be talking about the advantages and disadvantages of legalizing marijuana, Reefer.
Cheeba, this is one of my most favorite topics to talk about. Did you know that there have been 0 proven deaths caused by marijuana compared to deaths that has happened because of alcohol and tobacco use? That's baloney.
That is baloney, Reefer. But did you know that in the last 10 years, the THC levels in marijuana have risen drastically, and it's making marijuana a lot more harmful?
I am aware of this matter, but it makes a lot more sense to legalize this drug because it will benefit our economy significantly.
Yes, Reefer, that is true, but haven't you heard of marijuana being the gateway drug?
Where did you hear that?
On the internet. They can't tell you things, or they can't post things on the internet that aren't true.
You're an idiot, but okay.
And did you know that smoking marijuana makes you more prone to memory loss, especially in teens?
Did you hear that on the internet too?
No, I heard it on the radio.
Okay, well, since we can't seem to agree on anything, I think we should get someone else's opinion on this matter.
I will have to agree with you on this one. Let's go to Sarah. To the streets!
Okay, we're here with sophomore Caitlin Louder, here to interview her opinion about the use of marijuana. Good morning, Caitlin.
Good morning, Sarah.
So what do you think about marijuana being legalized in the state of Colorado?
Well, I think that it could be a good thing. You know, a lot of money could be generated from legalizing it. I think about $60 million could be generated to help the state of Colorado just through taxes and different things like that.
Do you think people that will abuse this law?
Yeah, I think it could be abused. It just kind of depends on the people who's doing it and whether they, do it when they're alone or not.
Okay, and do you think that marijuana leads to harder and more addicting drugs?
Yeah, I think it could. It just sort of depends on the persons that doing it and how much control they have over their body and things like that.
And finally, which do you think is worse, marijuana or tobacco?
Well, marijuana has never been recorded that someone's actually really hurt themselves from marijuana, but there's been a lot of harm brought to people's body from tobacco, so I think tobacco's a lot worse.
And there you have it. Thank you so much, Caitlin Louder, for coming in
You're
on the
welcome.
Wake and Bake morning show. Thank you. We're here with Alex Swanson, a junior here at Sargent High School. Good morning, Alex Swanson.
Good morning.
So, what do you think of marijuana being legalized in the state of Colorado?
I think it's terrible. I think it's the worst thing ever. All these dope smokers coming into Colorado and hurting the ozone with their funky marijuana weed stuff. It's terrible.
Yeah. Do you think that marijuana leads to harder and more addicting drugs?
I think so, because this one time I had this cousin, and he smoked marijuana, and then he smoked crack.
Wow.
It was terrible.
Very, very traumatic.
It was terrible.
And finally, would you rather cut off your leg or smoke marijuana?
I would cut off both my legs before I smoked marijuana.
There you have it. Thank you, Alex Swanson, for being on the show this morning.
You're welcome.
Now we will interview Deanna as she interviews some more people concerning this matter.
What do you think of marijuana being legalized in Colorado?
Well, don't even get me started with that. I think it's a gateway to another drug. It could lead to harder drugs, and it could just expand everywhere to people. Kids especially. We don't want kids doing marijuana. It affects your health. Not too bad, but it can, and it just leads to other drugs.
What do you think? Well, do you think marijuana leads to harder, more addicting drugs?
I think it leads to more and harder addicting drugs. It really does.
Why?
Well, just the way you tell a kid you can do this, but you're doing it yourself, that's a way to tell him, hey, you're doing a good thing. But if we tell a kid, don't do that, but you're doing it, it's like telling him it's okay to do it. It's the same thing with marijuana. If we tell somebody not to smoke it because it's wrong, but yet you're smoking it, of course, people are going to get the wrong message with that.
Okay. Would you rather cut off your leg or smoke marijuana?
I would rather cut off my leg. Marijuana is bad, and just don't do it.
Of marijuana being legalized in Colorado?
I think marijuana should be legal because it's not a bad drug. It's a drug like tobacco or alcohol, but finally it's a drug that doesn't affect very bring a lot to your brain, so it should be fine.
Okay. What do you think? Well, do you think people will abuse the law?
Yeah, they will. Of course, they will. If if now it's illegal and they abuse a lot, when it's legal, they are going to smoke all day. They are going to. Everybody's going to smoke it, I think. But it's not really bad. It's not. I think it would be a good idea to legalize marijuana.
Okay. Do you think that marijuana leads to harder and more addicting drugs?
No, I think tobacco can be more addictive, or alcohol too. I think marijuana is like addictive because after you smoke it, now when you're smoking marijuana, you can feel some addiction. It's like after you smoke it. So it depends on the person, it depends of how you do it. So probably now.
Which do you think is worse, marijuana or tobacco?
I don't know, probably tobacco, because tobacco is hurting your lungs. And probably it's not like every day you feel bad because of tobacco. It's maybe in 30, 40 years after smoking you can have cancer or something like that. But with marijuana you feel bad when you smoke it or after you smoke it, but it's not. I think marijuana only hurts your brain, and maybe doesn't matter.
Alright.
We're here with my fellow anchorwoman, Haley Martinez. Hello, Haley.
Hello, Sarah.
I'm here to interview her about her recent experience at a marijuana-themed concert at the one and only Red Rocks Amphitheater in Morrison, Colorado. Haley, tell us about your experience.
Weed. Everywhere. That's all I gotta say.
What did the people sing about?
Weed.
What did the people do there?
They smoked a lot of weed.
So what do you think this concert, what kind of effect does it have on Colorado's reputation about marijuana?
They were promoting it. Everywhere I looked it said pot is legal. And I don't really remember much, but that's pretty much what happened.
And there you have it. Thank you, Haley Martinez, for your insight about marijuana and pop culture.
And there you have it, folks. Everything you need to know about marijuana. It's about 4:21 in the AM, so that means we're done.
This is Cheeba and Reefer, and we are now signing out from Wake and Bake at 4:28 in the AM. Have a great morning. I'm going to be like, this is Cheeba and Reefer at 4:20 in the AM. Have a great
4:20 in the AM. That could be
Wake
a
and
song.
Bake.
And there you have it, folks. Everything you need to know about marijuana. It's about 4:21 in the morning, so that means our show's over. Thanks for
This is
tuning
Reefer
in.
and Cheeba. Thanks for tuning in.
Turning in.
What do you think of marijuana being legalized in Colorado?
I think it's demonic. I think that us as Republicans should go in there and kick the White House ass and say, do not legalize this.
We don't want that.
What do you think of marijuana being legalized in Colorado?
Swap me.